He was the hero until the world showed him the coast. Now he's something darker, something stronger, a storm they cannot outrun.
I buried the old me with no flowers, no tears, no goodbyes, just dirt, just silence, just the sound of the earth swallowing the weakness I used to wear like skin. That version of me, the soft one, the forgiving one, the one who kept hoping, died the day I realized no one was coming to save me. The day I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the face staring back. That was the funeral. Quiet, cold, permanent. I used to bend. I used to break. I used to hold my breath around people who only came close enough to cut me. I mistook pain for loyalty, silence for peace, and survival for living. I used to wear shame like a second spine, hunched over from the weight of expectations I never agreed to carry. That version of me would shrink in the presence of loud mouths and louder fists. That version of me whispered apologies for existing, for dreaming too loudly, for wanting more. But that version of me is gone. Ashes, dust, nothing but a lesson written in scars. Now, I walk differently, heavier, like someone who's done dying. My spine doesn't bend anymore. It's carved from every time I got back up. My heart doesn't bleed for the unworthy. It burns now. Controlled fire. I don't seek peace anymore. I am peace. And I am the war that follows when peace is denied. They never expected this version of me. They never saw the storm forming in my silence. They never felt the ground shift beneath me when I decided to stop breaking. I was quiet for so long. They mistook it for weakness. But silence is not surrender. It's calculation. It's the inhale before the roar. I spent years building this version of me in the shadows. While they threw stones, I built armor. While they whispered doubt, I carved truth into bone. Every betrayal became brick. Every disappointment became steel. I am not heartless. I am heartbroken too many times to let it beat the same way. I don't feel less. I feel sharper. Like emotion with an edge. Like love with conditions. Like mercy with a memory. The old me wanted to be understood. This me doesn't care. The old me looked for the good in everyone. This me knows that some people are born with poison in their blood and smiles that rot souls. I don't excuse cruelty anymore. I don't make room for apologies that come too late. I don't bleed to prove I'm alive. I breathe. I move. I become. I am not trying to be what they wanted. I'm becoming what they fear. This version of me doesn't beg to be seen. I am the scene. The fire in the background. The shadow in the light. I don't knock anymore. I walk through doors, and if they lock them, I burn the whole frame down. I am not asking. I am taking. I am not explaining. I am the explanation. Every time I was underestimated became fuel. Every time I was dismissed lit another match. I was forged in silence and betrayal. I was built in the fire no one thought I'd survive. And now I'm here, breathing, walking, unapologetically standing in the ruins of every version of me they tried to kill. This isn't a comeback. This is a resurrection. I don't move with fear anymore. I move with purpose. Every step is a decision. Every glance is a warning. I've seen what happens when I trust the wrong people. I felt the knife go in, and I've learned how to pull it out without flinching. I know the difference between love and control now, between loyalty and leashes, between forgiveness and forgetting. And I don't forget. This version of me remembers everything, not with bitterness, but with clarity. I remember who didn't show up. I remember who laughed when I stumbled. I remember who said I'd never be more than what I was. I keep those memories close, not to dwell, but to drive. I build on top of them. They are the foundation beneath my fury. This me doesn't need validation. I don't chase praise. I don't need claps or compliments. I am the proof. I am the result of endurance no one saw coming. The outcome of pain no one bothered to notice. I don't speak to be liked. I speak to be heard. I speak because my voice is the sound of survival dressed in thunder. I am the after, the consequence, the reality check. This version of me doesn't wait for anyone to open the door. I am the knock. I am the echo. I am the reason some people look over their shoulder now, because the old me let things slide. This one doesn't. The old me hoped. This one acts. The old me believed people would change. This one doesn't believe anything without proof. They made me this way, with their lies, with their silence, with their absence. They kept trying to break me down, and all they did was strip away everything that wasn't real. All they did was reveal the core, the unbreakable, unstoppable core. I'm not cold, I'm just done being burned. I'm not angry, I'm focused. I'm not dangerous, I'm just not willing to lose myself again. And if that makes me a villain in their story, then so be it. I'm not here to be the hero anymore. I'm here to be the truth. Unfiltered, unapologetic, unshakable. They wanted me quiet. They wanted me small. They wanted me scared. But here I am, loud in my silence, towering in my stillness, fearless in my movement. I am not the version of me they left behind. I am the version that rose when everything else crumbled. The old me is dead, and in its place stands someone who cannot be undone. Meet the one they never expected.
Why does he never smile? If you had walked even a single step in his shoes, you wouldn't smile either.
I warned them. I warned them all. But they laughed. They dismissed me. They underestimated me. They played their little games, whispered their little lies, built their fragile world upon a foundation of deceit. They thought they were untouchable, invincible. They thought I would always be the one crawling, begging, breaking. But fire does not beg. Fire does not kneel. Fire consumes. And now they will burn. I was the one who stood in the ashes of their betrayal. I was the one left bleeding, left shattered, left alone. They thought they could strip me of my strength, thought they could twist my mind, thought they could make me doubt who I am. But they failed to understand something vital. Pressure does not destroy a diamond. It refines it. Pain does not break the unbreakable. It sharpens. And betrayal does not kill the ones destined to rise. It awakens them. I see clearly now. Every knife they drove into my back was a lesson. Every wound they left was a map, tracing the path to my inevitable rebirth. They lit a match thinking they would watch me burn. They did not realize, or they say, that I am the inferno. I am the wildfire that cannot be contained, the storm that cannot be tamed. I am destruction and creation in one breath. A force they should have feared from the beginning. They mocked me. They pushed me to the edge, thinking I would fall, but I did not fall. I transformed. I shed the skin of who I was, burned away the weakness, forged myself into something stronger than they could ever comprehend. They expected me to bow, to surrender, to fade. But here I stand, unshaken, unyielding, unstoppable. They played with fire. Now let them burn. The air is thick with the smoke of their own making, their false words, their manipulations, their empty promises. They fuel the flames now. I do not need to lift a finger. Their own deeds are the kindling. They lit this fire, and now they are consumed by it. Let them scream. Let them claw. Let them beg. It is too late. I have no mercy left. Mercy is a luxury for those who have not walked through hell and come out with fire in their veins. I am not a savior. I am not their redemption. I am the reckoning they never saw coming. They thought themselves gods in their own little world. But gods fall, and they fall hardest when they believe they cannot. I watch as the empire crumbles. The towers they built on the backs of others are nothing more than illusions, and illusions do not withstand the truth. The truth is relentless, unyielding, merciless. The truth is fire, and I am the one holding the torch. They say revenge is for the weak. They say anger is a poison, but they do not understand. This is not about revenge. This is not about anger. This is justice. This is the universe balancing itself. This is the consequence of their own choices. I am not the villain in this story. I am the consequence they refuse to believe would come. I am not the one who started this fire, but I will not extinguish it. Let them burn. I remember the days when I was nothing but a shadow of myself, when I questioned my worth, when I doubted my strength. I remember the nights spent drowning in silence, the moments when I thought I would never rise again. But now I stand here, watching as the flames consume everything they built, and I feel nothing. No remorse, no regret, no pity. They earned this. Every deceitful word, every betrayal, every time they laughed at my pain, they carved this fate with their own hands. I was never the villain. I was the lesson they refused to learn, the warning they refused to heed. And now, the warning has become the reality. I am done being the victim. I am done being the one left in ruins. I have built myself back up, stronger than they ever imagined. And now, as their world turns to ash, I walk away without looking back. I do not need to watch them suffer. I do not need to hear their cries. Their end is inevitable. The fire they played with has devoured them whole, and I have better things to do than waste time on the remnants of what once was. I have battles to win. I have empires to build. I have a destiny that stretches far beyond their small, pathetic games. They played with fire. Now let them burn. I became my own refuge, my own shield, my own war cry. When the world tried to silence me, I spoke louder. When they tried to bury me, I rose higher. Every tear I shed turned into steel, reinforcing the fortress I built around myself. And in that solitude, I discovered something far more powerful than salvation. I found self-mastery, because salvation is fragile. Salvation can be taken, but what I built, what I forged from the ruins, is eternal. I had to unlearn the lies I was told, that strength was something given, that worth was something granted. Strength is something seized, worth is something decided. And I decided mine. I declared it. I carved it into the marrow of my bones. No one would ever hold the power to break me again. No one would ever have the privilege of deciding my fate. They called me cold. They called me ruthless. They whispered that I had become unrecognizable. Good. Let them choke on their judgments. They do not know what it took to stand here, unbowed, unbroken. They do not know the depths I crawled out of, the demons I had to conquer. And if they cannot understand, they are not worth my breath. I will never apologize for my transformation.